Hello and good evening and welcome to The Truth Behind the Truth. LA and Atlanta together. What was that? The boys are back. The boys are back in town. Whatever, however you refer to it that way.
Yeah.
Yes. A beautiful day here in LA. Not too hot, you know. Got a nice in between time of the weather, you know. It's going to be as upset. Sorry, guys, I'm getting contact, and the rest of y'all should already be on here. So if I'm looking down, that's why I'm looking down.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, it's also all is well. Charles, how are you? Good to see you tonight.
How you doing, Charles?
I'm hanging in there, doing the best I can.
Good. Trying to maintain that Atlanta's best kept secret.
You know, stay undercover.
Hey, we need to get you a T-shirt made.
Yeah,
Think like Negro.
Right, I know, right? So you can proudly wear around Atlanta when you walk around. And they say, "Well, who's the best kept secret?" They say, "Well, it's me. Of course, it's me. It's me." Well, good. Well, I hope everybody else is having a fantastic day. I think Darnell will be joining us a little bit here. You're traveling from one place to another. Think about it, y'all. So when you work in LA, you try to get back home. You hoping. You're hoping that even on the weekends, it's not.
Sometimes you have to find scenic routes just to get home.
Get home. Yeah, I know you do it every day.
I do it every day.
Every day.
I can't go through certain parts of LA. I won't ever get home to about close to 7:00 in the evening if I do. So I go through the valleys and come down the hills, around the corner, up the river, down the river. It takes time, but I bypass traffic.
Yeah,
I just you have to.
Well, and honestly speaking, just real quick on traffic, it statistically, LA is not the place with the worst traffic. Isn't that something?
It's just the worst drivers.
What was it, Portland?
It's just the worst drivers.
They did us now. We up there. Trust me, we are, but we're not one that have the worst traffic like some of the other ones that I
just the worst drivers.
Yeah, well, that's that. You got drivers from all over,
just the worst,
all over the place.
Here it's no excuse. There's no excuse.
Yeah, like all over the place here with driving.
Yeah, it's terrible. Terrible judgment. Yeah. And then on top of that, indecisive.
Yeah, oh God.
Most of them are indecisive. They don't have great judgment skills. Most of them are impatient. Especially if you're working on the road. Like I work on the road. Literally, I push stuff in. I push stuff in, and I swear to God, me crossing the road with my stuff, they be wanting to run me over. Yeah, I'm like, y'all crazy, but that's okay. I mean, hey, you must got good insurance and a good lawyer. I would love for somebody to pay half of my bills. That'd be nice. It would be nice these days.
Well,
if we get Trump in, we're gonna need somebody to pay our bills.
Nice segue into that. I think they'll probably most of our show tonight. Not him. Okay. Not him. But yeah, no, it ain't happening. But anyway, so Kamala, my God, I'm gonna say that I'm sounding religious for a second. My God. She has just put a great new fire under America.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was just we feeling like it was a blessing in disguise or whatever it is, whatever that way, whatever was in the apple juice, because we ain't talking about the Kool-Aid, that's the other side. The apple juice or the wine or whatever it is, that I am just overly excited that America is embracing this opportunity.
Me too. I'm excited myself.
To see her with, just was it last night? Was it 70,000 people? Was it last night? You remember, Charles, was it last night in Arizona?
Well, Trump says it's a fake. She's only pretending to have his crowd.
That's straight up bullshit.
He's had the greatest crowds in history since Martin Luther King. He outdid Martin Luther King.
They were trying to really censor that because he offended a lot of people when he made that particular statement, and then they have been Who was it back on
Why
Fox?
has it got to be somebody black they always trying to compare
Because, you
them?
know, success.
I'm so tired, you know, to be honest with you. It's like, come on now. Y'all really are. Martin Luther King, it's like, come on. But you know what? I hate to say this, but some parts of Martin Luther King's family, they, I think it's his niece.
No.
I don't know. And I look up her name, but I know that she is in full support of Trump. So I think that's who gave him the A-OK. You can use my uncle as a, you know,
as my
you can use them, and you know, it doesn't really matter to some of them. But you know, it is sad that, you know, he would call her crowd a fake, and he's been faking his crowds ever since he's been doing his campaigns. I mean, even the black audiences, he goes and picks them out of the line and puts them behind him and say, well, you see, I'm not a racist.
Right. Well, you know,
I don't get it. I don't understand.
You know, well, he's been faking everything ever since that mosquito bit is there. So you know that you know, just mosquito in the ketchup pack. You know, it's like that was some good acting, Charles. You know, we both acted. That was good. So they choreographed right. He would go, oh, wow. You know, slide that ketchup pack in his ear.
I like the way the flag was waving in the background as he held his fist up.
Oh man! Stop. You know, I know what you mean. I kind of got insulted for the Army because they purposely cropped that picture to look like the that civil. And you've been a part of the civil service. You know, that they cropped that picture to make it look like this. You know, that bronze statue of the Army guy where he's pulling his cohort out of the battle. You know, I mean, at that particular point, that was horrible. That was a bad image, you know, it really was. Real quick, we're gonna stay in this frame. Want to say good evening to a few people. Good evening, Stephanie. Good evening, Linda. Glad to have you back tonight. Yay, our Linda. Hey, you got to come on back on the show and give us your opinion on some stuff. So I'll reach out to you to get you back on. Yeah. And then Joe, thank you for tuning in tonight. I appreciate you. Joe was saying that David in tonight. Thank you for tuning in. I'll let you kind of I'm running. I can't read sometimes. You can take a look at them. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We really, really, really greatly appreciate it.
David said the day I went out to Trump was the day my stunt career took a shit. But I wouldn't change a thing. And I wish all of you young kings and queens continue blessings and success. Thank you, David, for that comment. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. You know, but it is, you know, and one of the things that just kind of remind everybody what our shows are going to be right now. We're calling our shows Navigating Your Life in America. Okay, because it is a crucial time to be navigating your life in America and different platforms, wherever that is, because there's a lot going on, you know, and it's really hard at this point to kind of position yourself around that. You know, so one of the models that we are here for you on the Truth Behind the Truth. You know, some of the conversation may not be fully in your area, but pay attention because it's something that you may learn about somebody else that you didn't know about, you know, in this particular arena. So if you're watching, I encourage you to watch more and more frequently. Also, and then encourage others, okay, to get involved here. We want to hear your comments, you know. What is easier if you want to see it up on the screen. I know I'm kind of like all over the place. I don't mean that. I'm just kind of giving a lot of information. You can also go to the Truth Behind the Truth Authentic page. That's our other Facebook page. I know most of you come through on mine. And you can put your comments in on that page, all right? Then we're able to display your comment if you got it, you know, on the show as well. You can always send us an email, all right, to ttbttshow@gmail as well with your comment. We can go from there as well, okay? So different ways you can reach out to us during the show because we really, 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 really want to hear from you. And if you got comments about what we're talking about, put it up there. We can get to it. We'll put it up there. If you got a question, we'll do our best to answer it for you, you know, because we want to keep you involved and keep you educated, all right? But anyway, so back into what we're talking about, Ms. Kamala. You know, this has been a very interesting 2 weeks, you know, and I must say that I really am enjoying her VP pick. You know, Mr. Waltz, you know, I think that it's great. He's brought some kind of a great excitement, you know, to the campaign or to America in general, because I'm going to try to navigate tonight, not just to say deal in a Democrat or Republican conversation, but I really want to kind of highlight around the benefits of these different people and why it's a benefit and why it's not a benefit. Yeah. Okay. Some of you may say that, well, Trump is a benefit in this area. And here's the thing. Now, let me just make the paper this clear. Just because we may not be voting for Donald Trump don't mean that we have not agreed with something that he's done. Okay. I can't say that the man has always been totally wrong. just almost like 99.9% of the time.
I think the greatest thing he has done was open up old wounds and old sins of this country.
See?
What people thought was back in the day of George Wallace and Governor and Mayor Boutwell and Bull Connor, all these people it's here in 2024, and it will be here until people start, mindsets start to change.
Right.
So I think that's the greatest thing Trump has, and ignorant minds is best. That's forget about racist minds. Let's talk about ignorant minds. People who are not educated enough to do actual research without depending and leaning on dumb politicians to make up excuses and make up information so they can believe in the BS. See, that's one thing I'm starting to realize as I'm looking through and seeing the campaign slogans and all this stuff. Oh, Elon Musk. That's Elon Musk. Okay, let me say this. Elon Musk has really did a good number on the situation with the African American or Black stance on who is really African American and who is not. He has put a lot of money into campaigning that narrative on his platform. So right now, the group ADAS, the African the group that is ADAS is the African American people who have descendants of slavery, African descendants of slavery. I want to make that clear. ADAS is the African descendants of slavery. They've been picking up steam because they've been giving Trump all of this. Well, they have facilitated this conversation about Kamala not being Black enough, basically, because she is not descendants of slaves. Now, my thing is, slavery was not only in the U.S., but it was in Jamaica too, and in the West Indies. So I don't understand this. Thank you. The slave ships passed through all of that, and on top of that, England, the UK colonized Jamaica. That's why you have a bunch of Jamaicans in the UK as we speak, and they want them out of the UK as we speak. Did y'all hear about those? Did you see those race riots? I mean, they out there in the UK. They are attacking Muslims. They're attacking anything that has Black and brown all over it. So it's getting kind of crazy over there right now as we speak. But going back to what I'm saying, Elon Musk has put a lot of money into this rhetoric. And now you got Trump sprouting this mess. You got Fox News sprouting this mess. And I'm sorry to say, but I can only blame us for putting this shit out there. But it's sad that now we have to we have to make ourselves different from the African immigrants that have come over here, and to us being who we are as descendants of slaves, to show who is supposed to be here. And then I don't think that's not kosher.
I got a great point. I'm going to Charles.
Go ahead, Charles.
I'm just going to say, I remember when only a drop of blood tainted you and made you Black. Now you can't be 50% and you're not Black enough. It used to be just a dot was enough. Now you got to be over 50%.
Right.
So, and then you got to remember the way that the society is as a whole now. In the next 25 to 30 years, most of us will be mulatto. We'll all be basically looking alike.
I'm glad you brought that up.
So, I mean, it's not like we're going to be that distinctive anymore. And this is my favorite quirk. How do you claim a country that is not yours as yours? You came here, you robbed, pillaged, killed, raped, maimed, and now it's your country. You have no history here but what you destroyed. You take away our books because you don't want it to be divisive, because it reveals the brass, manipulative, abrasive culture you brought to this country. When I remember this show called what is it? Wheels on Fire, or Hell's Wheels. It's about the West when they were trying to get the railroads across. And tells the Indian chief, he says, the United States would like to give you somewhere to stay. He goes, why? I have a home. He goes, well, the United States owns it. He goes, how do they own it? He goes, they do. He goes, did they buy it? He goes, well, no. He goes, did they trade for it? He goes, no, but he says, so how do they own it? He goes, well, the United States is trying to give you somewhere better. He says, I don't want better. I like what I have now. He goes, and why do the United States think they own what I already have? And that says it to the fact. You come into a country and you take over that society, that culture, and now it's yours because you're here. and then you do all this maiming and killing and put them on reservations, and you have no culture. Your culture is not here.
Right.
You built a society. So how did you come in here and all of a sudden all this is yours? And now I'm still trying to it baffles me that when they say go back where you belong, well, hell, you don't even belong here.
We should say, well, let's send you back first.
Yeah, you go back first.
You know. But you know, to piggyback on both of what you all were sharing, my whole standing, those that know me, y'all know how I'm about stuff like that. I'm always doing my best to be in the middle of conversation about that, to bring light on either side. So my thing, number one, is why is it important? Typically, let's just say for now on the African American side, what color Kamala is. Why is it important? What is the sense of value is going to change about you or your idea of this person because you think that this person is not a descendant of the rhetoric that a certain group of everybody in this country has gone through? Every black person ain't go through slavery. Everybody's black family did not experience that. Okay, and then to put that on everybody, and I'm just saying straight across the board to say that you're not Black American because your ancestors did not experience slavery. I'm gonna tell you, mine didn't. Okay, and my ancestry goes back to the Bahamas. Okay, and they did not come here. My great grandfather did not come here as a slave. So I get offended, you know, in saying that you have to be that way because of the color of your skin. You know, let's talk about a little bit of the color of the skin and how it is. I'm glad one of my great friends on it because one thing I love about my friend, I'll let her name be nameless that's on here, but she's a Caucasian woman. She is an Italian Caucasian woman. Love her dearly. We've been friends since we met each other almost 20 years ago, probably about 20 years ago. Okay. And, but she has allowed her truth behind her truth to embrace all. She has adopted biracial children. Okay, and made them a part of her family. She has taught them the ways of life it should be, and I love her for that. You know, and remember, she's been on the show. I just want to leave her nameless right now because I didn't tell her to put her name out there tonight. But Mama, we're gonna have her back on the show before election time. Let her speak.
But you have to think that some of them have taken the role of the oppressor.
Right. True. Let me finish the point. Okay, let me finish the point. So, you know, so saying that it is completely unfair to everyone else that's out here. You know what I mean? It's so unfair to put that on us, you know, in that lack of responsibility, because a good portion of African American or Black American or whatever you want to is biracially done by Indians, tribal Indians that have been here. There's been a lot of migration in that aspect of it, you know, and a lot of families that came through that. One part of my family came through that. Navajo, we're part of Navajo. Okay, because that was who it was, and whomever found love in the Navajo, they got together and they made some Navajo. Okay, you know,
but it is an inferiority situation.
Yeah,
there's a
but we allow
we
allow it, and that's where the problem comes in.
It's everywhere right now because there is an inferiority complex going on within. Whatever culture that might be that is dominating the situation, you have people who are, I think they just want to be first.
Right.
And I think, to be honest with you, when it boils down to the situation, I think this rhetoric of who is more American, who is not American, who's I think the men should be at the helm while the women should stay behind, and why should we have a woman president when we should have a man it's all of this rhetoric of misogyny and racism that is picking up steam, because this is something new that was nothing new underneath the sun, but it's a possibility that we might and we will get a woman president.
Right.
So something has to defeat the purpose of this ever happening.
Right.
And yes, this craziness of patriotism and racism and misogyny, it's building up right now, and it's building up through people. You would think, what are you to gain from all of this?
Right.
Who's paying you to say all of this?
Right.
Go ahead, Darnell, if you want to say something.
So when it comes down to it, for me, and for a lot of people, it's showing the factor of how America feels. It don't matter about what they talking about, that other BS that everybody talking about. Is she Indian? Is she this, that? This woman identify as a Black person. That's it. Right. That's all. There's no more discussion there. Why
and leave it alone. I get you, but go ahead.
So
I'm sorry.
when it comes down to it, this woman, every rally that she has had, even tonight in Vegas, that rally tonight in Vegas is just as packed. They didn't have no more room in the arena. The arena is packed. They had to turn away almost 1,400 people. So that lets you know she got a lot behind her. She has
now Megan before.
She has a lot of endorsement from the Republican Party too as well.
Right. Yeah.
So she has every key to the puzzle that she needs. She has a great campaign going. She got a hell of a team going. She's everywhere on social media. She's putting the money to work. Right. I mean, that's it. That's all. Trump knows the fact that it's it. That's it. Ain't nothing he can do. This is it. Right. That's all. She's persuaded the people. The people are behind her, and that's it. All we can do as the people of America is go out and do our job, and then to quit putting our mouths on bad situations that's pertaining to her. Right. Because when we project it out, it becomes right back, and it goes into the universe. So what we need to do is start speaking greatness over the whole thing.
Right, I completely agree. Yeah. That's why I came along with the subject and leading into that, because I would like to see the conversation just start, not necessarily us, but the conversation is out there to shift from what this woman is looking like, okay, and start focusing on what you're going to need or expect on a federal level that will trickle down to your state level. Okay, let's clarify that just for a moment. When she wins, when she goes to the White House, when she gets settled in her first 100 days, do not expect that pen to be being swiped on everything that you feel it needs to be taken care of immediately. Okay, so let me set the expectation so you can have that in your head. It don't work that way. All right. Yes, we're in the mode of getting her elected, but hey, she has got to build a cabinet around her, okay, so that they can support the ideas. But the thing about it is that she's approving their ideas. So you got to get that. You got to understand. She's approving their ideas. So what she's going to have to work to do is to shift the way that they've been thinking. I wish she had the ability to go and give pink slips.
I mean, too. But they were saying what a lot of the Republicans have been stating is that what put them and swayed them is because they said she's very easy to work with. Number one, when she was in chair before she became VP, she was easy to work with. They worked hand in hand. They agreed to disagree, but they always came up with a solution.
And that's what it should be.
And she said, and that was it. She said what she preached about the factor of I'm for all America. That's how she always has been. And that's it. And that's why they're swaying and moving over to her, because of the fact that they was like, we see what this woman is about. We know what this woman is about. When she was a VP, what can a VP do? A VP can't do much of anything. Right. You just basically assistant at that point. Right. So it's just like now she's able to go out and put some leg work in. And she stated that in her first, when she get in and get settled, she got some work that she got to do. She said she's gonna hit the ground running.
And I think that so. And I think that one thing that we will see is that I'll pick it up when we come back, because I think we're going to see a little bit. I'll drop this nugget. We're going to probably see a little bit of balance, or what? Hillary's husband, Bill, the same Bill, the balance out. Now, I ain't talking about the balance what he did with that girl. All right, y'all get that out of your mind. All right, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the balance that he was able to do while he was in office between Democrat and Republican. So we'll talk about that when we get back. Just real quick on this break. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back, guys.
And we ain't going back either.
Yeah, I know that's right.
We're
We are
not going back. That's the slogan.
Excuse me, Darnell, mute your mic until you're ready to speak, because I think that some background noise is picking up on your microphone, please. But yeah, so the hang on 1 second, guys. I'll get it, Charles, if you haven't gotten it yet. Give us 1 moment here. Oh, it is. Where's that coming from? Okay, there we go. You got you. Thank you. Anyway, guys, so we're back. And once again, thank you for tuning into The Truth Behind the Truth tonight. I want to quickly remind you of some reminders. Please give us your comments, your voice. We want you to be we want to be your voice, your platform of your mute your mic until you get ready to speak, because whatever is going on in your background, your mic is picking it up. Darnell. Yeah, until you get ready to speak. Something. Yeah, thank you. There you go. So we want to hear from you, because if there's any information that we need to investigate for you that you may not know about, hey, send us an email. All right, ttbttshow@gmail. Okay, we can look at it and bring that answer to you as well. All right, we want to be here for you. We're navigating our life in America. Also, quick reminder: we're going to get back in the conversation. So next week will be our season finale. All right. I'm thinking we'll get with the team. We may do 2 shows next week. I don't know. Depends on what's going on in the news. Saturday and Sunday. But we'll see. We'll put an advertising on it. But next week will be our season finale. So we'll be on hiatus until when is our return, Charles? The 15th of September. I think it's our first live show back. 15th of September, that weekend. I think it's the 14th. 14th, that's right, because it's Saturday. Friday's the 13th. So yeah, the 14th. So but in the meantime, we will have the list of the shows that we've already done throughout the season available to you. So they're going to pop up. You'll get them at different times. We're going to have that so you can stay in the flow of what's going on while we're on hiatus, getting ready for a great season 5. Oh my gosh. You know, I'm excited about season 5. I ain't even here yet, but I'm excited about it. All right, back into what we were discussing. So I know I was going to pick it up for you, Darnell. You had mentioned about the amount of people that were at the current current event. Say. But yes. Go ahead. You finish.
Hey, Mom.
No, so it's one of the things that therefore, and that's one of the biggest things that have been really bothering Trump, because of the fact is this: he's not having crowds like he should. Vance isn't having crowds like at all. And there's no turnout. He's losing support all the way across the board. Right. And he's losing money on top of it. And he's upset because of the factor of he got to be in court in less than a week and a possible.
Yeah, the back in court again. No, 17 or something like that.
16.
Yeah, 16. Okay.
So he's back in court again, or whatever the case may be. So it's one of those things where he's out there. He's that's why he go on those rants. So I feel like this. I think that the momentum is there. The drive is there of the people. Everybody just got to keep the drive and momentum going, and get out to the polls. Get your friend out to the poll, your cousin, sister, auntie, the dog, if he can vote.
Okay, I know, right?
We got to get up. We got to do our part as well. So true. That's it.
I know that I was going to mention about how I'm seeing probably her administration will. I think it's going to very emulate Bill Clinton's, administration, in some way. And that is the very positive part of what Bill Clinton was able to do, because his conversation between the two parties was powerful enough to move them to want to come together on a lot of issues,
Well, you might think that, but I don't think that. Okay. Because that's a whole nother different situation. You're talking about Bill Clinton, the governor of Arkansas, coming into being president with a Southern type of strategy. I don't think that's going to be, I can see it being another Obama situation. Okay. Where she's going to have to deal with a Congress who is going to fight her tooth and nail about policies and stuff that's going to happen. She's going to have either a new blue dog Democrats, Southern Democrats who can't work with her because they want to have their votes in and they want to get back into office. So she's going to have a fight on her hands.
Well, I'm not saying it's going to be easy.
We all know it's not going to be easy, but that's not make it because Bill Clinton was a different situation.
But I'm looking at some of this policy. I mean, digging into that book, because one of the things that to his success was he was able to bring the parties together to almost virtually think one on a lot of issues. And what he did was he took a Republican agenda and made it become a Democratic agenda. But the Republican Party was on board as to some of the things that he was doing. So not to to dig into all
but
of
in
this.
his first term, didn't he have a Democratic House? Because I think in the second, was it in the second or third term, he had a mostly it was Gingrich who was Speaker over the House.
Yeah. We got to also remember that the culture has changed since then.
Right, exactly.
Back then, they were able to disagree, go have a beer, work things out, come back the next day.
And that's why most of them got in trouble in the first place, because they were doing more than drinking beer and having cocktails.
That's you also got to remember with Bill Clinton, he balanced the budget.
I know,
right.
The budget was cleared and balanced, and we had we also had just like with Barack. Every time a Democrat becomes president, he balances the budget and leaves a windfall. It's the Republicans who come in and spend all that money, spend it up, and on all these pet projects and wars and all these tax cuts for the rich, and that's where the money goes.
And corporations too.
Yeah, exactly.
Which makes me wonder, why would anybody who is a working poor class would want to vote for Trump? I don't understand what would you get out of a Trump administration? I don't get it.
It's a twisted thought process. People look, and I don't know why they do, but I hear it all the time. If I was rich, I'd do that. And they think that when they get rich, which they never will, that they can be a part of that process. But they're never going to be in that process because they're never going to achieve that goal of being as rich as those folks are. So, that empathizing with them and understanding, even though you're not one of them, I don't know where it comes from. It's like it's that oxymoron, like I said about black guys in the mafia. Mafia can't stand black folks, but they want to be part of the mafia. They want to emulate them and all this other stuff. But it's the wrong mindset for what's needed. And this democracy and it's sad to say, every election we say we need to protect it. But the dream, the idea of the democracy, which is freedom of speech, freedom of religion,
and
having the right to live life equally amongst everyone, is what this thing was built on. But we criticize Iran about being led by religion, and now we're trying to become a Christian nation. This is not a Christian nation.
Sharia law, right? But
yeah,
evangelical laws into the mainstream, which is not everybody's religion.
Right.
Like, why are you so busy trying to force the 10 Commandments down my throat? I might not believe in the 10 Commandments. I might believe in some other doctrine. So this thing that the evangelicals keep pushing down certain people's throats, like, we don't want Sharia law, we don't want the Muslim or the Islamic faith to come in. Well, they always say that stuff to provoke red anger and all that stuff. But here you are throwing down your commandments on me, and I might not believe in what you believe in. Keep it.
No, you're absolutely you're absolutely right. See, one thing is that it would solve all of this again. Maybe in the middle is that if you teach people the sense of value, worth of themselves, you don't have to worry about teaching them 10 Commandments. They don't know that when people don't know the sense of the value of themselves and who they are, you can lay every kind of law on everybody else and they will not follow. But
and
when
it's
people,
not to say don't believe in it, but then don't force it. Believe in it, but don't force it down somebody else's throat.
And I'm glad you. What is the fact of what is believing in it doing for you?
I'll
go there. All right.
That's not like go there tonight, because we don't want a whole lecture. We have lectured this a long time. Go ahead, Darnell.
Many times.
Go on, Darnell.
I get you. But
you know what's funny though?
But when you put that out there, okay, and to a group of people that really has no aspiration to be a part of what you doing at all. So what are you saying to these people? That they're absolutely no good? Stop.
Basically,
just stop, because that's not your call. Okay, just stop. You get offended if the Muslim family comes out and does something and says it tells everybody that they're no good. There's always opinions about religion. All right, but keep those opinions to yourself. Okay, I mean, at the end of the day, realistically, because we are not a nation that is formed based upon it. You have people that prayed and you have people that didn't pray. Okay, you have people that walked and didn't walk. You have people that crawled and didn't crawl. Let
Here
people
we go. Go ahead, Darnell. Go ahead,
Stop.
because he's gonna go into a sermon. Go ahead, Darnell. Please go. Go.
Wow.
The funniest thing, the funniest part about the whole thing is this. Have you guys noticed that the temperature of the people have been cooling down?
Yeah.
The temperature, the weight of the heaviness of the country has been cooling down.
Yeah.
In the midst of all of this, just being out and about, you find people being a lot more nicer, or whatever the case is. Because when people are in a position where they don't feel like there's nothing to look forward to or nothing to look to, it brings tension in the air. It makes things very tense.
The other day.
Anyway, stop. But see, I think that people having a sense of their personal realities being obtainable at this point, okay, and it's not being coming through. Well, they're going to suffer because I did this and they did this to me and they did this to me and me and me and me and me and me and me. And I think people are like, wow, this is so fresh. This woman has actually got up and talked about ways of benefiting us as a country. Okay, and not benefiting me as a country.
Policies,
so, and she got power, exactly. So people are saying, like, we've been bamboozled by this jackass for way too long, and let us start making some concrete decisions on where we want to see the things go. I mean, that's just my opinion, And
I think the greatest gift she could have ever did was put Tim on. Because Tim and her together.
Yes, man, we talked about it before you got here.
That was the deal. That was the deal seal right there. Because it was like she brings one part of it and he brings the other part, but they both bring the hope aspect of it together.
Absolutely.
They bring the laughter, they bring the fun, because that's what people like to see. Or they like to see.
And he doesn't have the personality of a dry toast.
Yeah, they like
that's the best thing about him.
Because she can tell she done had to lay into a couple of people. Like at the rally when she just had literally gave them a moment in time to talk about their issue right before the rally, and they get right into that rally and go and do that foolishness.
And she said, I'm
good what you said. I'm still trying to figure out those people who are against the war over in Palestine. Those people who say free Palestine. I'm wondering, do they believe that Trump, if he was to ever get in, would do that? Because Netanyahu, whatever, if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, whatever his name is, they are in cahoots. They have been in cahoots since Trump, when he was president, built that new embassy over in Jerusalem, on the side of Jerusalem. So my thing is, if you're over at somebody's rally protesting free Palestine, why isn't it not at a Trump rally too? That is my beef with that. I'm like, y'all are always at a Democratic situation, but you're not even at a Republican situation.
Yeah, well, think about it as in this fashion. Republicans for Kamala, and let me make sure I tell everyone it's Kamala, not Kamala. It's Kamala Harris. Okay, it got so many people mispronouncing her name.
Right?
Yes, the Republicans for Kamala even said that they believe in the democracy we once had. That is what made us enemies of all other countries. We were able to bond together no matter what our religion, no matter what our race, no matter what our social status, and become one. Now we're so separated. We got so many black folks. Well, if you ain't doing that for black folks, then why we even do it? It's not. If everybody's in the same boat, you can't put life vests on one people and then say the hell with the rest of them, because we all gonna drown no matter what.
You gotta be truthful with this, Charles. When have they ever did anything for black folks? I'm just not trying to be funny now. I'm just being serious about this situation, because in any aspect of anything that has started in this country program-wise, I'm talking about welfare and all this other stuff, food stamps, was not always guaranteed for black people.
But it wasn't for black people. That's where we get to we lose the understanding. It wasn't for black people. It was for disadvantaged people. Yes, it's for the whole. It's not just for black people. That's where we get caught up. And more white people on food stamps and welfare than black folks, if you want to know the truth about it. So you can't keep saying that all this is for black folks. That's just like Trump saying he gave all these loans to the HBCUs. You know he didn't. He was supposed to reinstate the loans, the money, but he held it, saying he wasn't. Now you got all these black folks talking about, well, he get HBCUs money. No,
they don't even know. They don't even give
what was already there. He held it hostage, thinking that he could get away with it, and they got on his net. Nancy Pelosi and all them got on his tail, like, you need to sign that money and put it back where it belongs. And he tried to make himself look good, just like he did with the stimulus, put my name on it and make it say I did it. And he didn't do nothing. He just signed the paperwork.
Excuse me, just Charles, let our producer know. We'll go ahead and pass this break. We'll keep going. We'll just catch up on the next one. Okay, don't worry about it on this one.
All right, there's no problem.
It was true for all who needed it. Okay. But my thing is, I was watching this thing on redlining. You know that movie, the Brewster, Women of Brewster Place. Remember that wall they tore down and all that stuff. I was watching that documentary, and I remember there was a moment in the documentary where they said that the value of property was greater with. And I'm taking this in another direction, so y'all, we're gonna get back to but I just thought about this. But the fact is, a lot of stuff was developed just for Black folks or anybody not to have their hands on those things. And I'm talking about property,
redlining, and the rest of it. Yeah.
And that wall in that movie was based on that, keeping the community separate. Because they were, because white folks, and I'm so sorry, this is the truth, they were guaranteed getting money from the GI Bill because of this. The Suburbans, that was a plan that was based on dividing Americans. So I hear you, Charles, when you say, well, we at one point in time united, but that was a moment where we were always divided. And that is something that I keep saying why it takes tragedies for us to unite as Americans, but in peacetime, where there's this individualism and separatism of class and race and of gender too, that likes to come into spaces and say, you know what, you're not welcome. We don't want you here. Sometimes I feel that when I go to work out there in Calabasas. I hate to say it, but sometimes I feel like my presence is not needed.
And I'm gonna put it to you plain and simple. We can't blame everybody else for what we don't stand for and we don't stand up and talk about. We are so divided as a culture and as a race. We can't keep pointing at everybody else talking about what they don't do. Right now, we're our own worst enemy. We got the Chick-fil-A girl over there with Trump talking about how Kamala stole Willie Brown from his wife and all this other.
Wait a minute.
See, but this is our problem. Slim Thug got on here and said he's gonna vote for Kamala. Now understand his rationale. He says, I don't get into politics and all that other bullshit. I don't deal with none of that. But I feel as a Black man, I should vote for the Black woman. But that's about far as I go with politics. This is our problem. We don't understand the value of the power we have. That if your voting didn't mean anything, they wouldn't be trying to take it from you. Please understand that.
It's amazing that I think every conversation that we have on this show, and as we are always digging to find the truth behind the truth, we're not necessarily knowing it, but it all goes back to the question you just put out there, Charles, and the thing that we are is our information sources have not built up the community enough to be self-independent. Okay, so because of the information sources are not building anything to the community, you run off of your own crazy idea, if I may say. So then you come up with your own crazy philosophies, and then that leads into all of the separative pieces that you mentioned about within the ranks of the community.
Called the laws of Darwinism. That's a really a dumb philosophy that is still perpetuated to this day.
And it's not only subject to us. Okay, let's move it from our faults. You know what I mean? At this particular point in time, because it's a fault in every community, that there is out there. And we got to be careful about how we highlight, especially on our platform, highlight the problems that we know that exist in the community. I think that identify and find a solution.
I'm glad that you stated that. That's why I was waiting on what's trying to get done. So with my job, we do a lot of stuff with a lot of different organizations. So as of, they had the Black men that was for Kamala. They had the white men that was for Kamala. We were part of both calls.
Okay.
And on both calls. And that's why I keep telling us we cannot keep on using this.
Because we
end up being our own worst enemies.
Right. Right.
And they do the same thing.
Yes, exactly.
But the thing about it is this. When they get on there, they lift each other up.
Right.
On that call, all you heard was them lifting each other up on the call. The black guys too, they were doing the same exact thing on it, or whatever the case would be, because there's a group of us who do have common enough sense to know that, guess what, we can't keep on tearing each other down by our words, because words have power.
Right. Oh no, I totally agree. But we you don't have a, you know, see, we go into, and this will take us into, which we don't have time to dig into, but this takes us into belief systems. Okay. And there's so many fabricated belief systems that have, gosh, I said I wasn't going to do this, but that has infiltrated itself into the people of color communities. Okay. And I'm going to stretch it into that aspect of it, where it's not focusing typically on black people. So because of those belief systems, we surround and we pledge allegiance to these type of things. So when proper information or opportunities to that to grow, we don't do it because it's a part of our belief system. And our belief system says you can't do it. So we get up with the can'ts, like you say, Darnell, then we start putting the bad words over it. Okay, or the words that shouldn't be. We can't, we're not able, you know, we can't afford, you know, and all of those other types of things start coming around, and it becomes a practice the way we see ourselves.
Exactly, JB, on the line from both calls. There were, when I tell you on that line, there were millionaires times 5 on the lines, and they were saying we don't talk negativity because we know that negativity will come back into our finances
quickly. I mean, it happens quickly.
All those millionaires from both calls that were saying the same thing. They say if you always wonder why you're in a struggle, it's because of your mouth.
Because of your mouth.
I mean, that's a given, because at the end of the day, listen, I hate to say this and I hate to be the Debbie Downer, but if you go to work every morning, and I hear this all the time on my job, and you work the way certain people have to work, some people have to work 2 to 3 jobs, and they're not making do. So you say those things because at the end of the day, I understand where you're coming from. But see, it's easy to have and to believe and to not have and to want and to have to believe. That's a struggle. That's a mental struggle.
I think, and that's what they were stating. They were stating the factor of what we have to do now, or whatever the case may be, is to turn around and start to uplifting and being a true brother.
Well, you know,
that means paying your fair taxes.
That was last Wednesday. They intertwined both race calls, or whatever the case may be, and the conversation was the same, or whatever the case may be, because they all were looking at it like this: we all in this race together.
Absolutely,
all of us is in this rat race together. When it comes down to it, a lot of the ones that were on the call, they came from piss poor nothing, and they build. And they said, and one guy, he really got me, because he said, you know what? He said, every time I get ready to go open my mouth and say something negative, I sit back and think about the factor of I can turn the light switch on.
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
and the lights come on. And I can open the refrigerator and I can get something out of it, and it might not be what I want to eat, but I got something to get out of it.
Absolutely.
And I can go where I need to go.
Well, you know, this comes into this is okay. Let me put a disclaimer. This is not a religious conversation. Okay, this is a conversation of universal principles. Okay, universal principles mean that what comes out of your mouth, even though you can find in scripture about things coming out of your mouth, but it's a universal principle. What comes out of your mouth comes back to you. All right. So if you feel like that your life is on a pitfall and you keep spinning pitfalls out of your life each and every day, guess what? Yet the pitfall becomes your friend. But it's up to you to change your position because of the words and your thoughts. All right. But if you are not willing to do that, universal principle here, okay, that carries straight across the board, however you see yourself under the headship of our universe. All right. So change your word, change your heart, changes your mind. Very simple. All right. Let's move on. Okay. So, where were we? I'm sorry. There was a point before we went down that road. You had.
We were talking about uniting. The country uniting.
Oh, I did want to go back. Yeah. So that's right. Uniting. So even in that, even the words I've just said about that, even with the uniting principle, we have said it on the show so many times. Okay, we are the ones that are going to be left here at the end of the day. Not we collectively at this particular point in time, and we have got to come together and find solutions for that. All right, we got to. So it cannot be coming to, well, black people are getting too much, white people are getting too much, Asian people are getting too much. Those are actually facsimiles of things, because every one of those things that have switched could be wiped away, and you're standing out there and looking like, what am I going to do? Let's use that, Charles, you brought it up earlier. Let's use 9/11 as an example. Okay, at that moment, God rest the people that lost their lives on that particular day. But that area of the world, of the planet, had nothing but to embrace each other for that moment, for those hours. It wasn't about color. And somebody said philosophically, even in that day, that the soot covered so many people so much that they didn't realize who they were hugging.
Yeah, basically.
Oof, that's deep.
That is deep. But going back to what I was saying, though, that's a tragedy that we're going to always have. In tragedies, we unite, but in peacetime,
at times we're always divided.
There's a situation of division, like right now. And I use this as an example. They are saying that the immigrants who do come over here are getting more money, they're getting more benefits, and they're getting food stamps over the Americans who have to work and who have to do whatever they have to do. And that is the rhetoric that Trump is using. Well, he said that Kamala and Biden had started amongst themselves of giving a program of giving to these folks.
But here's the thing. Why not help the people? If they're in here, why not help them?
Well,
we want to be
the same stamps that they get. The same assistance that they get. Guess what?
They're going in Central America, right? They go in the middle of America.
We just don't use our common sense to go and do it.
Right.
Because our pride sometimes get in the way.
Right.
Because we're very prideful people.
Right.
Because we like to be so prideful, and I don't need it, and I'm above all of this.
Right.
Guess what? They don't be feeling that way, because they feel like this. Guess what? Them stamps gonna get me something to eat.
Baby, look. Okay, them stamps are the same stamps that they filtering in Middle America. Okay, the same stamps. All right, the same stamps that they don't like to talk about. All right, the same stamps that show up in Beverly Hills every now and then. Okay, the same stamps that walked in the store in Ralph's with the full length mink coat before it got the ketchup thrown on it. The same one with the Gucci and the Louis bags that walk in, so they pull them right out of the bag. It's coming out of the same aspect of it. I mean, that's the truth behind the truth. At the end of the day. Speaking of ketchup,
I wish I could find somebody who's selling some right now.
Huh? I know, right?
I said, I wish I could find somebody who was selling some at this point.
You silly.
But y'all want to know who Trump is vouching for these days. Y'all want to hear this? This is ridiculous. I got.
As you transition to get it together, I want to say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, a little hold it. You can play.
Go ahead.
So, who I'm putting this out there for? Who is going to be the best spokesperson for the National Ketchup Company?
Nobody. Who gonna be it?
You don't know? Oh, wait. Ouch.
A mess.
Look, when he don't get elected, he gonna be the spokesperson for the best ketchup company. Heinz ain't gonna hire him. So he gonna come on. You gonna have Trump ketchup.
Well, I am shocked.
He done sold tennis shoes. You might as well sell ketchup now.
But I am shocked that this man has vouched for Biden. This is what he said.
Joe Biden. And I'm no Biden fan, but I tell you what, from a constitutional standpoint, from any standpoint you look at, they took the presidency away. And people were saying he lost after the debate. He couldn't win. Well, I don't know that that's true necessarily. But whether he could win or he couldn't win, he had the right to run. And they took it away. They said they're going to use the 25th Amendment. They're going to hit you hard. Either we could do it the nice. I know exactly, because I know a lot of people on the other side, believe it or not.
I bet you do.
They said, we'll do it the nice way or we'll do it the hard way. And he said, all right. So they've really taken, what they've done is pretty incredible. The presidency was taken away from Joe Biden.
That's crazy. But he even told Biden that he was too old and he had to get up and get out. So what makes it now different that
because he's being recognized?
They pushing down that, But his party is pushing for him now to go.
Right.
The whole Republican Party is pushing him now to go.
Right. Now he's recognized the fact that he's old. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, go ahead, Charles. I know you've been saying wait patiently. Go ahead. Yeah, Charles, go ahead. I know you've been waiting patiently to say your point. Go ahead. Yeah. It won't let you in?
Yes, you're on mute.
Oh, you're on mute, bro. There you go. All right.
Yeah, give me a second, baby. And look, let's put this in terms. We all live on one ship. The ship sinks. We all go down with the ship. There's no way to do this other than to do it together. We can fight and bicker and be misaligned with each other and point out each other's flaws. But until we understand that we're all on the same boat, we're never going to succeed and we'll never flow. This is why we have to sit back, and communication involves listening and comprehending more than it does responding. Absolutely. And that's the problem a lot of us have. We want to respond every time we hear something versus taking it in and trying to figure out what someone's saying and where they're coming from. And until we can get this communication thing down packed, we're going to always bump our heads and have these differences and these discrepancies amongst each other.
So true. So true. I couldn't have said it better myself. You know, I mean, and that is it. You know, I mean, that really, really is it. You know, I truly believe that there, and like you said earlier, Charles, kind of reflecting, but I truly believe that none of us here, and probably most of y'all watch this, may not be on this side of the planet. No, I know you won't. But there is coming a time where the races will become one. Okay, I mean, it's a destined cause. All right, it's a destined quest of the survival of humanity. And if you need to understand that, there's a movie, which I brought up about this movie several times on the show. H.G. Wells' Time Machine, not the 1962 version, but the version that Guy Pearce did in '99. Well, you can find it. Okay, just go to Prime or whatever. Really great movie in terms of what happens. That it takes him 90,000 years into the future. Okay, but in that 90,000 years is that he's the only quote unquote white man in a land, which is the true land of Earth, that he is not a blended person. Okay, now the 1962 version, they made everybody white. Okay, but in the true essence version, the person that wrote it the right way, all right, made it as a fact that all the races came together, at the end, and it becomes one race. That is, I think, every day my hope, for us, America, England, wherever you decide to, wherever you live, is that we do figure out those differences that we have and realize that they're not differences; they are just needs that we're all trying to get met. Okay. And because we see those needs, and that number one need is love, and then when you feel like you're not getting love, you feel like that you've got to attack, you've got to take it, you've got to steal it, you've got to do all of these other type of things, which you kind of mentioned about in the laws of the 10 Commandments. But people already, in my belief, people already have the 10 Commandments already living in them. Okay. It's just that you have to utilize it. Well, so you have to understand how to activate it. But when you have been presenting something that has already been a part of you, and what's been a part of you has been told that you're wrong, okay, it's hard to activate those type of things because everything that comes out of you, it's been told that you're wrong. All right. So what we need to start doing, telling people how right they are. All right. How right they are in the areas of their lives. That's and start speaking rightness over them. Then the gratitude and the gratefulness that we all should have every day that we get up. However you display that, it should be displayed some way, some form of fashion to the universe. If you want to name it down to Jesus, if you want to name it down to God, okay, whatever it is, okay, and how you choose to go about it, that is something that should come out. And I believe that it does come out of everybody. I believe it's some sort of way every day somebody gets into the mirror, even if they just looked at themselves in the mirror and breathed, they took the opportunity to recognize that they were alive at that particular moment, and they are grateful for being alive. And then they may go out and do some horrendous shit after that.
Sound like Trump.
Well, hey.
Especially Trump using Celine Dion's song without her authorization. I mean, that was just foul, all the way foul, but that's another situation.
And it is. So,
she shut that down real quick.
Right.
She did shut that thing down.
And true, Mama, I understand what you're saying about the first two commandments are and about love God first, love and then love yourself. True, very much true. But as I said earlier, is that when people don't understand the essence of love, and that is the responsibility, I think, if you want to take it in a religious sense, that every religion should be drawing people into its understanding by love. Because if you're drawing in by love, the rest will fall into place as it should for that person's life. Not you making their life become something else. Like you said earlier, shoving something down your throat, and it's got to be my way. And then if you're not doing it my way, then you're wrong or you're sinful from a Christian perspective. Or you're just that. No, that goes back into the words, like you said, Darnell, tonight, very, very articulately about that. Words matter. Okay, words matter just as much as people matter. And what we need to do is be more governed and astute of the words that we're putting out in the universe, number one, for ourselves, and what we put over everybody else. Okay, because those very words that you're saying about somebody else, rest assured they come back around and they will find you in a position that you don't want to be in because of something you said about somebody else. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning into The Truth Behind the Truth tonight. Powerful night. We forward our commercials tonight because I thought the conversation was really beneficial, and where we were, didn't want to break that vein, tonight with everything. But we love you guys. Remember, next week will be our season finale for season 4, and as we get prepared for season 5, so you'll be getting intermittently the shows will pop up, on your viewing opportunities, for that each week, or maybe 2-3 times. We want to keep you in the flow. All right. So have a beautiful night. Remember, go out, find somebody to love on, and love will help you understand. As the song says, love will
lead
find
the way.
What's that song? You know what I'm saying? Love.
Talking about Lionel Richie song?
No. Well, yeah. There's another version of it too. But at the end of the day, love will find a way.
All right.
That should be the message from now. Love will find a way. Y'all have a beautiful night. Thanks for tuning in to what?
The truth.
The truth behind the truth. Bye-bye.
My God.